Third man in the cage tonight with the amazing flow as always, one Tommy Johnson. In the corner of Devin Mcginley, we have Eric Lalone as well as Robbie Graff. For Todd Debato, we have Scotty Miller, and I believe it's Yusuf Zalal over there as well, and Markel Medeiros. Rear push kick from Todd Debato. Mcginley answers back.
Ooh, hard right hand. Todd's trying to walk him down. He needs to be careful. He's not chasing. You know, it's a hard thing to deal with, and good knee there.
There's a strong overhand on the break from Todd Debato there, but
guys
Devin
are
Mcginley is
chucking
cracking back.
These guys are chucking them.
That was a strong right-hand counter right there by Devin Mcginley.
Yeah. And, you know, when you throw that hard, for both guys, they're getting off balance, so anything the other person throws is going to look more impactful maybe than it actually is.
And we're seeing Todd Debato throw some bombs from some awkward angles here. He's thrown that uppercut from kind of a like a 7 o'clock up to 2 o'clock angle, if you will.
Yeah, everything Todd's throwing right now is 100%.
Oh, that was a strong uppercut by Todd Debato. He hurt Devin Mcginley. Devin McGinley's on his bike right now. But he very wisely clinches and helps preserve himself right there.
Yeah, that was smart. You know, that was good fight IQ. Everything Todd's throwing right now is 100%. Even his jab, another good right hand straight down the pipe. I think that was a trip, maybe? Sweep?
Yeah, that just looked like a little foot sweep right there. But McGinley's standing tough in the pocket and trading back every single time.
Yeah. I would like to see Todd maybe take a little bit off his shots. He's throwing super hard. You know, that can get you tired. That uppercut lands again for him there. He's finding success with that. And again, smart clinch there.
Devin Mcginley showing some veteran savvy as far as the kickboxing rules go by as soon as they start to get into some heated exchanges, he's making sure that he's tying up, and he's worked hard to get those overhooks and control at position at times.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Todd's throwing bombs on him and kind of wobbling him a little bit, but he's able to control the action, control the pace of the fight, which I think is pretty impressive. You know, normally when you're the guy that you're fighting a guy who's coming really hard, really aggressive, it's hard to control that pace. It's hard to keep your composure. He seems to be doing a good job with that.
100%. Now, if you're in the two, you know, or if you're over here with Devin Mcginley, Cody, what are you looking to offer to your fighter if you're in the corner?
I'm just telling him to get on his jab. You know, he's allowing Todd to just bull rush forward, and he's not making him respect any of his strikes. He's kicking naked kicks, and he's getting lit up when he throws those naked kicks. You know, he needs to get on his jab, make Todd respect his hands so he can keep the distance. He is the taller, longer fighter, but he's not using that advantage. You know, he's on the back foot, and he's getting walked down with power shots. He needs to just get on the jab, and it doesn't have to be powerful. It just needs to touch him.
Do you think fatigue could potentially become a factor with the volume and the power that Todd Debato has been throwing with?
It could, but right now he's landing, you know, so you're definitely going to get less tired as long as you're landing. If he starts to miss, you start missing big and you start to get winded quick. But right now, everything he's throwing seems to be connecting somewhat.
Fair enough. And both fighters take to the center to start the second round. And referee Tommy Johnson calls time and a stoppage to the action to reattach a fasten on the leg guard of Devin Mcginley. And the Comanche's back ready to go. Both fighters meet in the center.
Again, you see just a little off balance, right? They're finding each other off balance, and it's not sweeps, it's not rocking them. They're just throwing so hard that their center of balance is off, so anything you land is going to push them off from there, you know.
Now, those couple of foot sweeps, how do you think that weighs in the minds of the judges sitting cage side here?
I mean, it's definitely got to score points, you know. This is kickboxing, so those got to score.
And a strong flurry right there from Devin Mcginley.
Yeah,
but Todd Debato answers back with those strong overhands. If Todd decides to go with an uppercut, and he threw it, but he just missed.
See, this is where fatigue starts to set in. You see how Todd's missing. You know, he needs to center himself, find his jab, find his range. He needs to touch him instead of trying to take his head off with everything he throws. That's what's going to gas you out, and that's kind of what you saw in his amateur debut those months ago.
And it was also a right high kick that seemed to sneak up there from Devin Mcginley.
Yeah, that volume from Devin is really where he's having success, like you were talking about before they started. You know, he needs to get back to that volume. Right now he's having to be so defensive, he's not able to get going, you know.
Yes, sir. Now, When we're talking about Todd, he's thrown a lot of overhands and hooks, Cody. Do you think that he would be well off to start kind of cutting that distance and throwing and mixing in some straights?
Maybe, yeah, for sure. You do want to mix it up, but he's landing. Like I said, you don't need to change it up. And I think that's kind of what's opening up that uppercut from him. He's coming from that big wide angle over the top. That Devin's trying to catch on to that and trying to catch it. And then
and a
he's
strong overhand again, just as you mentioned it.
And then he's finding that uppercut. He's finding the uppercut because he's weaving it, right? He's going over the top, over the top, over the top. Devin starts to raise his guard. When he raises his guard, he's able to sneak that uppercut in. Devin's got to get his volume going. You saw he was able to put together a nice little 4-5 punch flurry, and that's when he was having his success. But if he doesn't pick up that volume and just allows Todd to throw bombs, he's going to lose this fight. I think he's down 2-0 right now. It's tough for a volume striker to go get the finish. He's going to have to figure something out here. I think he's got to get his hands going more. He didn't get on his jab. He's got to control the distance. He can't let Todd just zombie forward and throw bombs on him. He's got to make Todd respect his hands, and those flurries will do that. Those flurries will give him the opportunity he needs to maybe throw power, but right now he's on the back foot. It's hard to throw power off your back foot.
You're spot on with that analysis right there, Cody, because in the last time that we saw him going up against Mark Kondenko, we saw him walking forward, and we saw him putting the pressure on somebody that entire time. Now, I think that is probably his best route for success in this round as well. He has to push the pace on Todd. He has to try to make Todd miss and potentially maybe try to catch him. And, I think he probably needs to finish this fight to get the win as well.
For sure. Todd's breathing heavy. He needs to maybe try to find body here, too. If I'm his coach, I'm saying find body. Because you see Todd is fatigued a little bit more. I think he's in good shape, but I think out of the two of them, he's definitely more fatigued.
And we had a push kick from Devin Mcginley, and we had a jab land from Todd Debato right there.
These naked kicks are getting Devin in trouble. He needs to throw hands first.
And a naked kick from each guy right there. Do you think that that's a little bit of maybe some of the inexperience from each side not recognizing that?
Yeah, I think Todd's been making him pay for those, and he hasn't made the adjustment. And, yeah, that's definitely an experience thing. Both these guys have less than 3 fights. So you're just learning while you're in there, and that's a struggle sometimes. That's tough. And when he goes back and watches this, he'll be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have changed up, thrown hands first, set my jab up, set my kicks up. Because he has good kicks. He just needs to set them up a little bit.
Fair enough. Little crescent action right there from Todd Debato.
I'm really liking the jab from Todd. He's been landing the jab all night. The jab's been there for him. He's throwing it with power. He's throwing it from both stances. It's really setting up all the rest of his strikes. And it's impressive. It's a big improvement from him. 4 or 5 months ago, he didn't have a jab. Now he's got a jab. He's throwing in combination. He looks good.
He does look very strong. Now, Cody, one thing that I've noticed, as soon as they clinch up, Mcginley has been winning the fight on the inside with those knees, if you were to say, as far as what's happening on the bottom half. But Todd just landed an overhand right there, and I think he thought it might have been MMA for a second. Continued to take the back.
Devin's leaking, and I did my tradition of wearing my white shirt to the fight. Maybe get a little paint on the canvas.
You might have a little souvenir to walk home with tonight there, Mr. Brundage.
I agree with what you're saying. Devin's definitely winning the inside fight. Todd's looking more for trips and sweeps, and Devin's looking to land knees and do damage.
And that was a strong kick straight up the gut to the solar plexus right there from Devin Mcginley.
Yeah, it was a closer round. That was a better round for Devin. He can leave with that round knowing, like, okay, I kind of started to find some things, set some things up. And, but I'm really impressed with Todd. He made a lot of improvements since his last outing. And that's a testament to his hard work. Like I said, he's been working hard in the gym. He's been putting in the effort into a discipline that he doesn't necessarily feel the most comfortable in to complement his great jiu-jitsu game. And you saw the improvements tonight. He looked like a completely different fighter.
Absolutely. That was night and day of a difference from his last outing in, actually, I believe it was, it might have been January up in Wyoming. Don't remember the date specifically off top, but I know that it was at the beginning of this year, and significant improvement, like you said. But that's not a fight that Devin Mcginley can walk out of here hanging his head on. He should walk out with his head high. He fought tough. He was in every single exchange, and he never stopped. There was no quit in him tonight.
Yeah, both guys came to fight. Both guys got good, valuable experience. That's the biggest thing you need in the Amis. It's just that experience. You need to improve in your areas. Figure out like I said, you got to figure out what kind of fighter you are, and they're still doing that, and they're working through the process of that. And so any amount of time you can get in here is going to be beneficial.
Certainly, and as these scores are being tallied from the commission and the judges' score side, that has just been delivered by Chief Inspector Eric Hines to ring announcer Aaron Brow.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how about that for a first bout? Great job. All right, guys, our judges have reached a unanimous decision. Judge Coca scores about 30-27. Judge Ojeda scores about 29-28. Judge Justy